Hi friends! I decided to try something new this month because I am hauling so many less books every month than I used to. So I'm going to start including my ebooks as part of my haul. I'm seeing a lot more YouTubers actually show their ebook hauls lately, and I personally really enjoy watching them. Like, I like to see everything somebody's hauled, even if they don't have a physical book to hold up. So I thought I would try the same thing. That said, if you only want to see the physical haul, I'll do that first and get that out of the way, and then you can stop watching if you don't want to watch the rest. I pre-ordered Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the second book in the Aurora cycle. I really enjoyed the first book. I really liked this cast of characters. I love Cal, sweet, angry little space elf. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, but at the same time, I'm a little bit scared because I keep seeing people say that the ending of this one is like absolutely brutal and will rip your heart out. And I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. Next was another pre-order, and that's Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is the UK paperback, which I just think is so freaking pretty, but I also think the US hardback is really pretty too, so I kind of want both. Really trying not to spend a lot on books right now, but it's really tempting because I absolutely loved this book, y'all. It was so good. And then next is the last pre-order I had, and of course it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I am Hunger Games trash. I absolutely adored the original series. I read it back when it was new, and I have reread it probably 10 plus times over the years. So I freaked out when I heard we were getting a prequel, but I'm actually reading this right now and I'm not very far into it, but I already honestly kind of love it. And then the last part of my physical haul is Now That I Found You by Christina Forrest. This was actually a Goodreads giveaway prize that I won. This is a YA romance about a girl who is an up-and-coming actress, and some stuff goes awry, and so her grandmother was like the super famous actress. So she decides she's going to go find her grandma and get advice from her and like kind of talk to her. But when she goes to find her grandma has just up and disappeared. I guess she's like a really eccentric older woman. And I know that this is kind of a polarizing thing, but I personally am very fond of the eccentric old lady trope. Like, I think because my grandma was such an eccentric old lady that I'm very endeared to that character type. So I'm already like, I'm so ready to meet Gigi. Like, I'm gonna love Gigi. I already know it. But anyways, while she's trying to find her grandma, she enlists the help of a musician who happens to be a very cute boy, and things go from there, and this just looks adorable. Okay, and then for my digital haul, I purchased a couple of things through Kindle sales. I got Disenchanted by Brianna Segalski. There's this quote in the synopsis that I want to read to you because I really liked it, and it's, "This is the story of a cursed princess, a crestfallen killer, the town that wants them to burn, and the witch that can save them both." If I hadn't already been sold on it, like, that would have done it for me. I also bought My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyankin Braithwaite, and this is supposed to be a kind of comedic thriller about a woman whose sister is a serial killer and she knows that. I also got Welcome to the Show, which is a horror anthology of 17 horror stories all revolving around the same music venue. And the last Kindle sale I got was The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This is an adult romance about a woman who is forced to work alongside her ex-fiance's best man slash brother, who also happens to be the guy who basically put her wedding to a halt. And then the rest of my digital haul this month was e-arcs, which hopefully my e-arc haul is going to be a lot smaller moving forward because about halfway through May I actually put into effect a new arc ban. But I got Two Rogues Make a Right by Kat Sebastian. This is the third book in the Seducing the Sedgwick series. I got this because I had just read the first book, which was It Takes Two to Tumble, and it was absolutely adorable. I also got Burning Roses by Elsa Huang. Pretty sure that's literally what I saw the author hype this as like queer old Asian lesbians. I feel like we never get to read fantasy novellas about older women. Like, that just never happens. It's always young women or teenage girls or whatever, and it's never older women, and so I think that's really cool. I also got Ring Shout by P. Jilly Clark. This is a historical horror fantasy novella where imagine if the KKK was formed by an evil sorcerer, and the main character is a woman who has like a magical sword, and she slays monsters called the Ku Kluxes. You know, everything about this sold me on it, like literally everything. Plus, I've been meaning to read something from this author for a very long time, so this felt like a good introduction to start with. I got The Unready Queen by William Ritter, which is book 2 in the Oddmeyer series. The first book was called Changeling, and the premise of the first book was that years ago, a baby was born and a goblin tried to swap this baby for a changeling, but he got mixed up while he was swapping them out and he couldn't tell which one was the changeling and which one was the real baby. So he was forced to leave them, and they were raised as twin brothers, basically. And it's a middle grade fantasy series, and it was absolutely so precious. And like, these boys' mom is just absolute mom goals. She was one of the best moms I've ever read in any book ever. So I'm really hoping that she's going to be featured pretty prominently in this one too. I also got I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan. It's a YA mystery thriller about a girl who 10 10 years ago she watched her best friend be kidnapped. She never got any answers on like what happened to her. So now as a teenager, she runs a true crime podcast where she and a bunch of other like internet sleuths try to find out what happened to these missing people. I also got Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. This is supposed to be a very like soft ghost story. I love like soft, sweet ghost stories or like sad ghost stories or anything. And so this is about a girl who has just aged out of foster care, and so she gets offered a job that allows her a place to live on this isolated farm, but she's going to be there all by herself, and she thinks that's going to be great, so she moves out there, but she doesn't know that there are going to be ghosts there left over from these traumatic events that happened to young people before her. I got Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is about a girl whose mother has just been murdered. She wants to get away from her old life and just get as far away from what happened as possible, so she goes to this like boarding school kind of, but on her first night there she witnesses a demon attacking a human, and she gets sucked into this kind of magical plot with these Legendborn students who are a society of mages, and in that process she finds out that she's also magical and that what is happening is somehow tied to her mother's death. And I got Court of Lions by Samaya Dowd. I cannot tell you guys how ready for this book I've been. I loved Mirage. This is the second book in the Mirage series. But if you missed the hype when Mirage first came out, it was a YA sci-fi set on this planet where there are like these different ruling castes and they're very separated from each other. And a girl from the poorest, like most horribly treated caste finds out that she is an identical lookalike for the princess, who everyone absolutely hates. She's awful, she's very abusive, and just really a terrible person. And because this girl is a lookalike for the princess, the government basically takes her and forces her to become a body double for this princess because the princess is so hated that she's constantly under threat of assassination threats. And then the last novel that I hauled was Just Like That by Cole McCade. This is his upcoming romance. Cole McCade is one of my favorite authors. If you don't know, he writes a lot of queer romance and it's really, really good. This is an age gap romance between two men. I believe they're both teachers at the same school. I know that there's some taboo elements to it because Cole McCade specializes in throwing in some like taboo elements and then working them in a way that's not problematic and is really, really well done. Don't know too much about it yet. I kind of just saw Cole McCade's name and was like, yes, give me. And then finally, I just hauled a few graphic novels. I got a manga called How Do We Relationship, Volume 1 by Tammy Full. This was a sapphic new adult romance manga between these two girls who meet each other at college. They're both kind of desperate for a relationship and for like those experiences, and they're both lonely, so they just decide they're going to dive into a relationship even though they really don't know each other. I also got I Left the House Today by Cassandra Kalin. If you follow Cassandra's comics, this is that comic artist, and so it's just a collection of her comics. And then I got 3 of the new Hill House comics. This is a new line of comics that DC is putting out in conjunction with Joe Hill. The first one was actually written by Joe Hill, and it's Basket Full of Heads, and it was kind of a weird, I want to say almost like a weird slasher with a twist. It's really hard to describe unless you've read it, but it was good. The second one was The Dollhouse Family by M.R. Carey. It's about a creepy, twisted little haunted dollhouse that follows this family through generations. And then finally there was The Low Low Woods by Carmen Maria Machado, which was easily one of the best things I've read all year. It's about this little town where women in this town are constantly forgetting things. They just constantly forget periods of their life. And there are these beasties like in the woods, and there's a lot going on, and it's one of those plots that you really can't talk about without spoiling. And obviously I have read all of those graphic novels that I mentioned in the manga, so I'll give more details on those in my wrap up, or you can always go look at my Goodreads account. But that's it. That was my May haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about adding ebooks to the haul. Like, does it just make it way too long? Do you not really care? Or, you know, do you still want to see those? And then let me know like what you hauled this month. Was there anything that you were really excited about, or did you haul any of the same things that I hauled? I know that like at least 60% of us probably hauled The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So if you hauled it and read it, let me know what you think of it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video again soon. Bye!